Hey guys, welcome back to another Typhoon H video. In today's video, we're going to take a look at using the D-pad cruise control on the ST16 and how that works, and it helps you with some smooth flight. Also, we're going to take a look at my entire setup. I promised I'd show you that, including this HD screen capture device to record what's on your screen. So that and some more stuff. So let's get started. Okay, so let's just jump right into this here. In my setup, there's some of the stuff that I only use for work, but I'm going to show it anyway. When I'm flying for fun, I don't necessarily use all this stuff. But anyway, so the first thing I use is a GoPro chest harness strap thing. Holds the camera about right here. There's also a microphone that allows me to narrate into the camera. And this is useful on jobs because I found that when I want to, for instance, when I'm doing my pre-flight, I can just talk through it and I can talk about the information, wind, and whatever else. And later I can just extract that data for my logs, and I don't have to sit there and fill all this stuff out. I can just talk about it and later write it down. So that's real helpful. It's also helpful if I'm on a job and I'm on someone's property. I always like to have a record of what I'm doing, not just from the aircraft, but on the ground. And so it's also a safety, safety device that if something were to happen, I've got what happened from the pilot's point of view there too. And again, like I said, I can always talk about what's going on at any given time, and it just sort of gives me some backup. Very much like the HD recorder here. Again, for jobs, I don't necessarily use this. I got it to do YouTube videos, but I found it's kind of useful because I can record the initial screen, and there again, there's all that data that I can then go back in and write my logs for my logbook. But this unit I got off of Amazon, and by the way, links to all this stuff will be in the description down below. So if there's something here you see that you want, there's a link down in the description. This was a fairly inexpensive recorder. I think these things are. It's made in China. It's called the HD Video Capture, and it came with the capture console itself. It came with an HD cable. It came with a wall charger that I've converted. I actually cut the power end off and put two RC servo connectors onto it so that I can unplug the wall charger and just plug in a battery. And then I bought just a 4.8 pack, 2000 milliamp nickel metal hydride pack and it just velcros on the bottom of my tray and goes up and powers the whole thing, and so it's ready to go. So it's freestanding. So on the jobs out there, when I'm ready to record, I just hit the red button and it's recording everything I see on the screen. So that's kind of handy. And so far it lasts at least as long as the transmitter battery does. So that's very nice to have. The other thing, of course, is this transmitter tray. And let me get all this stuff off and I'll show you some more about that. Okay, so the transmitter tray was just an outgrowth of my RC experience. It's basically a tray made from carbon fiber, and it's got a padded neck strap, and it's got elastic on it here so it stretches. Rather than holding the transmitter, which kind of limits your hands from reaching everything, you basically have a platform here where you can just put the ST16 in, you center it up, you just flip the lever and it's locked in. Now I'm not holding the transmitter, I'm holding the transmitter tray, and it's in there. There's no vibration. It's very sturdy. But this allows you to go hands-free and do whatever you have to do. So in the middle of a flight, if you need to take your hands off and check an app on the phone or whatever you got to do, you can do that. And that just gives you so much more capability. The other thing too is, as you're going to see when I start doing these flights with the cruise control, I can also go hands off and go over here and work the gimbal, both actions, in pan and in tilt, and do movements that are not capable to be done by just simply flying and twisting and turning. So that's an extra bonus from this transmitter tray. Plus, like I said, when you hook up all the stuff, it's a very sturdy mount, and it just makes for a better flying experience. The next thing is the aircraft itself. The only mods I've done to this is I've painted the camera guard bright yellow so I know to take it off, because I don't ever want to start up with the camera guard on, of course. And the next thing is the recovery system here. This is a water recovery system. It was designed for fishing rods, people that fish, so that if they were on the boat and a fishing rod went in the water, this thing would get down. When it gets wet, it deploys a little bobber. This comes to the surface on a 100-foot Kevlar line. You grab that and you can pull your fishing rod, or in this case, your UAV back. It just made sense to have this, and for the price, it's not bad. I think now they're about 30 bucks. Link in the description. So that's my setup for flying for now, and so let's get out to the field and do some flying.
Sometimes I find I want to spend a little longer letting a subject reveal itself in a scene. And for those types of shots, I really like using cruise control. It's a simple and effective way to get precisely controlled slow movement. And since it is an automated movement, it frees the pilot up to more effectively utilize the camera's pan and tilt controls independently. The two trim pads below the left and right joysticks can be utilized during flight to control a few key elements. The right pad controls aircraft movement, while the left pad controls the camera's white balance and exposure value. Since we are looking at movement from a video perspective, we will want control over the shutter speed, and to do this, we need full manual control. So if I'm shooting video, the controls from the left pad are left alone. In another video, we'll get into the photography side of things and look at where exposure value compensation might be useful. After booting up, but before motor start, I go through a mission checklist, essentially preparing camera settings for that particular flight. The first thing I do is bump either trim pad to initiate the flyout screen for trim function, because the first use of trim resets the camera to auto, and you don't want to be caught off guard in the air having to reset everything, so I just do it at the beginning of every flight as part of my routine. With everything set, ready to fly to wherever you want to film. You'll notice the increasing control command rises by 3s. I found that it takes about 18 points to start movement in any direction, but once moving, it is extremely smooth and consistent. Now you can go into global pan mode and control pan or tilt to add to the movement. In this case, I'm just going to dial in a little pan and let the aircraft do its thing. And that's all there is to it. To stop the cruise mission, just give the right stick a stir. You're now back to regular flight. Now the cruise function isn't just limited to a constant altitude. It also can be used in conjunction with the left stick to create smooth, establishing shots by adding or subtracting altitude after the movement has begun. It just makes it so much easier to concentrate on a single aspect of flight while you're also trying to frame the shot just the way you want it. It seems like the more I've used these tools, the more uses I've found for them, and this little function is one of my go-to tools when I want to get smooth, consistent sliding shots.
Okay, that's about the end of this video. In my next one, I'm going to go over charger stuff, prop balancing, ND filter stuff, some more camera stuff, and a whole lot more flying. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, think about giving me a thumbs up or maybe even a subscription. Let me know you're out there. Until the next video, you guys take care. See ya.